Hi, welcome back to Final Fantasy VII Replay. We finished Midgar in our last installment. Had to escape from Shinra, there was an exciting motorcycle chase, might have had to try the boss a couple times. Oh, we did it! We got away and we're on a new mission. We are tracking Sephiroth, although we're not 100% sure why yet. Our first point of order is to get to Kalm, which is a town to the east of Midgar. So we're going to do that. And we're on the field screen here. And we're just wandering around the world, and as happens in the world, sometimes you run into monsters that you have to fight. I'm not going to show all the combat on video here, but since this is the first time getting into a battle outside of Midgar, why not? It's pretty similar. You can see some of the mods upped the quality on the textures there, although there isn't a perfect seam in the sky texture when we angle back up. But that's okay. It still looks a little prettier than the original. Ah, smoke bomb. Which we got to. We can see our mini-map in the lower right to help us navigate. And this is Kalm. Cobblestone streets might be generous here. Of course, it's not. The area we can explore is not as big as an actual town. But we know there's an inn, so we can rest up, and some other stuff to do, I'm sure. Let me explore. Or do I have to go do the inn first? Thanks to Mako Energy, life's pretty darn convenient, thanks to Shinra. We just barged into this woman's home, we're not going to argue with her about Mako. We are, however, going to loot her stuff. Sinister visitor carrying a mean-looking sword. Heading for Junon. Wonder if that's the person we're pursuing. And from this little tower we get a nice view. And you can see there's a crenellated wall. So Kalm is somewhat protected here. Interesting mix of sort of the medieval. President killed by avalanche. We know that's not true. She may not like Shinra, but need Mako Energy. Do you really need it, though, or is it just convenient? And this guy, I've got my health and enough to eat, I guess all's well. It's an interesting dichotomy. Because you get, maybe average people, many of whom can live normal lives, relatively normal anyway, right? But it doesn't change the fact that there's stuff going on maybe outside, his immediate environment that is maybe important and worth paying attention to, or supporting, or trying to stop, depending on... Anyway. Borders on the political, and we're not going to do that. Monsters showed up in the Mithril mines. Sounds a lot like Moria. Now he gets hammered at the bar. It's a good place to get hammered. Series about reforming Soldier. That's interesting. That's a hint that maybe Soldier isn't what it used to be. So, shopping done, let's head to the inn. Meet up with the rest of our party. I'm only late because I was buying you things. I mean, the party things. Yes, heard you, Barrett. So Cloud is now going to explain why he holds a grudge against Sephiroth. And about the crisis facing the planet. We know Cloud used to want to be like Sephiroth, so he joined Soldier. Worked his way up to first class. Got to know Sephiroth a little. Until one presumably bad day. There's an incident at the reactor in Nibelheim, which as we remember is Cloud and Tifa's hometown. Soldier was sent to investigate 5 years ago. So there's Cloud and Sephiroth and a few regular troops in the back of a transport heading to Nibelheim in the rain. Cloud being supportive of the soldier with motion sickness. Good man. Cloud is excited about some new materia. Look, Sephiroth, he's 16. He is kind of like a kid. A very young adult, maybe. He's a teenager. Sephiroth is curious why Cloud wants a dangerous mission. To become a hero. But he didn't get a chance to fight in the Wutai War because it was over by the time he made first class. But he does want to prove himself. I get that. Mr. Sephiroth. So because there's been a Mako leak, that could be responsible for the monsters. We also know Shinra has done some experiments. Either way, we're going to help the people of the town, and we're also going to avoid liability for Shinra, I guess. It's a win-win. Yeah, Mako can make monsters more aggressive. Cloud asks Nibelheim, isn't that? And then has a memory glitch, apparently. This is our first opportunity to see Sephiroth in combat. way more damage than we are. That's why he's the best, I suppose. Claude makes a point of saying he's much stronger than you would expect. And Aerith wants to know why, if he was different than other soldier members in some way. And Claude says that's an important part of why all this started. Tifa still pointedly has no commentary. Sephiroth is courteous, but also curious, because he does not have a hometown, at least not that he remembers. So he wonders what it's like for Cloud to be back here. Sephiroth mentions he was not raised by his parents. He grew up inside Shinra. His mother's name was Genova. We've heard that name before and seen Genova, although here Sephiroth claims she died in childbirth. And then he chuckles, wonders why he's bothering talking about this. Cloud giving the soldier pointers on how to pose more confidently. Let's check things out. Tifa would prefer that Barrett not interrupt. Aerith asks about the childhood friends reuniting. Interesting, Cloud was aware enough to know people were not enthusiastic to see them, either because they were afraid of the monsters, or they were afraid of Soldier and Shinra showing up. Sephiroth gives us permission to visit family and friends. So we are in Cloud's memory, which is not perfect, and so we get little instances like that. I wonder, did Cloud go and see his mother? His father died when he was young, he doesn't remember him. He remembers her as vibrant. honey, you look handsome. Is that a soldier uniform? And we saw some of this after Cloud. I think this was when he fell through Aerith's church. She comments, oh, you've grown, I bet the girls don't leave you alone, yada yada. Settle down with an older girlfriend. Cloud doesn't particularly want to explore that memory. So this is Tifa's house. She is nowhere to be found. Did Cloud go into her room? If he went into her house to look for her, he probably would have gone upstairs and just checked her room. He just played the main theme from the game. I want to know what the letter says, but I think Cloud would have been courteous enough not to. Alright, we'll do this. This is funny. So, did Cloud really steal Tifa's underwear? No, because he's not a creep. Yeah, we'll be climbing the mountain to the reactor tomorrow. A lot of monsters, but nothing a couple of soldier members can't handle. WinRAR. So you got two kids. I'm guessing the little brother is just copying his older sister in terms of speaking. So we just found a toy soldier. I believe there are a bunch that we can collect. I don't remember if you get anything for collecting them. Well, we visited Cloud's house, we visited Tifa's house. Didn't go to the mansion yet. Dude, you asked. Things have been bad since the reactor was set up. I thought Mako energy was supposed to make lives more comfortable. But the cost is more aggressive monsters, Flora and fauna disappearing. Zangan, martial arts teacher. Tifa's sensei, for that matter. Gosh, I like this music. It's very sort of melancholy, mysterious, foreboding. And meanwhile, Sephiroth feels like he knows this place. I think we've done what we can do, so we may as well turn in. Sephiroth mentions he's hired a guide to get us to the mountain. Or to the reactor, I should say. That's Tifa's father, which implies that Tifa is going to be our guide. And there's Tifa. Tifa being underestimated. Not that it's not bad to have friends looking out for you, but she's tough and can take care of herself. Why not get a picture? Heading up Mount Nibel. The mountain's just as bitter as Cloud remembered. Very creepy rock formations. What do you think? Would you just rush to get over this rickety-looking suspension bridge? Rope bridge, rather. Oh man, listen to the creaking of the wood. That's great. Not in the original game, but it just adds a little something to the scene. Down they go. Cloud sure falls off a lot of stuff. A little bit cold on Sephiroth's part not to search for the missing soldier, but they do have a job to do. Cloud and Sephiroth taking care of business. Oh, is this a summon? So it's possible to summon monsters from another plane to assist you in battle. We don't have any summon materia yet, but it makes sense that Sephiroth would. I believe that was Bahamut. Abundant Mako energy means interesting colors. You may have noticed Cloud has much higher HP and MP than in the present. And here, maybe that's just supposed to be indicative of first-class soldier super enhanced. Could just be video game logic, because if we start the beginning of the game super powerful, what is there for us to grow into? A Mako Fountain in the mountain. So Sephiroth is going to explain, when we condense Mako energy, materia is produced. So that's materia made through artificial means. Sometimes you can see that happen in nature. There's materia that develops naturally. This is a nice little parallel of Cloud having to explain to Barret how to use materia, and now Sephiroth explains it to Cloud in flashback. The reason is that the knowledge and wisdom of the ancients is held in materia. Harness the materia, and you can access some of those abilities, magic or otherwise. Meanwhile, Sephiroth remembers someone from his past telling him, don't use words like magic. It's all just natural science. And we see here that Sephiroth has no love for Hojo, who he describes as an inexperienced man who took over the work of a great scientist. Professor Gast. So Sephiroth admired Professor Gast, not Hojo. Store that for later. And some people, I know, criticize Tifa's cowgirl outfit. Considering that Nibelheim is supposed to be a backwater, a country town somewhere in the wilderness, you can argue that it fits. In video game shorthand logic, anyway. So this reactor looks different than the ones in Midgar. It would make sense that this one isn't as advanced as what there is in the capital city. Sephiroth points out Tifa can't come in because it's Shinra property. There are secrets in there. But the door is just wide open. This bit should look familiar if we remember the flashback Cloud had of Tifa being in here. The plaque above the door says Genova, which Sephiroth is curious about, but not enough to deter them from their mission. So we're going to close the valve to stop the Mako leak. Question then becomes, why was the valve open? Sephiroth talking to himself, looking in the pod, and then commenting that Hojo's experiments still won't put him on the same level as Professor Gast. So we're getting the explanation of how this works. The system condenses and freezes Mako energy to turn it into materia. But here, Hojo has modified the system in these pods to do something else with that Mako energy. And there's someone or something in there. Sephiroth tells us something that we knew from Cloud's conversation with Aerith in the park. Shinra makes soldier members by exposing them to Mako. Different but still human. You get enhanced abilities and a little glow in your eyes. But the people or things in the pods have been exposed to a higher degree or a higher intensity of Mako, turning them into, as we will see, monsters. Normally, people would not survive prolonged exposure to Mako. I think that might have been mentioned earlier. So Hojo has done something else here, has modified these people in some way to enable them to survive and change based on that exposure. Possibly in an effort to make stronger soldier members, but instead creating these mutants. And Cloud asks aloud what Sephiroth probably is thinking. Because Sephiroth is stronger than other soldiers, does that mean he's different? And Sephiroth hears a voice telling him he's different. An outburst, wondering was he created this way too. He knew he was different or special since he was a child. But not like this. And now we can see what one of those mutants looks like. And it does not sound happy. Cloud at the time didn't understand what Sephiroth meant. Understandably, he was shaken up finding out that Shinra was making monsters. And it's interesting because we develop some empathy for Sephiroth, even knowing that he is an antagonist. And I think, well, I don't know, people have different experiences, but I remember thinking as a kid, wondering, growing up as a kid, am I normal? I'm different from other people, we're all a little different from each other, am I a little more different? Are people more or less different than some imaginary standard of normal? Anyway. We've been going for a while. Let's take a breather here. So we've seen the world map as we traveled from Midgar to Kalm. We've explored the town of Kalm. And we're partway through Cloud's recounting of the events that happened in Nibelheim 5 years ago. And his connection to Sephiroth. And we will find out more about that when we continue later. But for now, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you're intrigued by the story. I know I was when I went through it the first time. And I will catch you next time. Bye.